Welcome to the Rethink and Return podcast. My name is Jason Shepard. Every week, we rethink things and return to God's original intention and His design. We generally do 2 recordings a week. One, we revisit a passage of Scripture that thousands of people are studying together in a Sunday gathering or in a house church, and we're just going to dig more deeply into these things that we didn't get to talk about enough or want to talk about more that we're wrestling with. And then we do another recording where we're just working out leadership things, being a pastor and ministry or leading stuff, and wrestling with tensions of how we live like that in our world today. So we'd love for you to like this, subscribe to it, share it with other people. Enjoy the podcast. We'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for joining us for the Rethink and Return podcast. I love these conversations, especially when cool, awesome people stop into town, which is what's happened today. Mi amigo, the infamous Curtis Jones. Good to see you, Curtis.
Good to see you, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. Thanks for reaching out. When you reached out to hang out, I'm like, I was excited about hanging out. And then I thought later, last minute, sorry, can you do this? And you said, yeah.
I said I was nervous, but willing.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. I mean, I'm glad you're willing to, and I can't believe why you'd be nervous. Because, dude, when I think about you, legit, and when other people that I know, when we talk about you, like we're just like, this dude's mind about the church is just brilliant. And just the way you see culture in church, the collision of all these things, is just something that I learned from. And honestly, dude, I needed it and I missed you. You were like, have you ever watched the movie Burnt? Bradley Cooper?
No. I know what you're talking about, though.
I mean, somebody's going to take this out of context if they want to, but thankfully I don't care anymore.
A lot of people do compare me to Bradley Cooper.
That's what I was getting after, man. Like, you're the Bradley Cooper. But it was in the movie, like these 2 chefs were like competing, which of course we don't do that in the church world.
Yeah.
But these 2 chefs were competing, and this one guy told the other guy, he was like, I need you to push me. And it was really cool. But I mean, like, you know, I started Church Project, and around the same time, maybe, you started Bayou City.
Yeah.
And Bayou City, like, pushed me. It was really cool, awesome. And you pushed me. Like, when I had Sundays off, I would often go, Brooke and I, we would love to go sit at Bayou City to worship and be taught and just be in the environment. But what y'all were doing in the city, how you were going about stuff, like, you pushed me. And, you know, we were different in some ways, but we had some of the same goals.
Yep.
And you pushed me, man. And so that's why I was like, not only was I sad when you left the city, I was mad at you too, man. So anyway, so here you are back.
Oh, thanks for having me. I feel all those same things. And it's clear. I mean, I knew what God was up to at Church Project when we lived here.
Yeah.
But, you know, stepping out, I don't know if He was always doing these things, or the last 5 years have been really special here, but it's clear that God's touched what you're doing. And, you know, I mean, really, that's what's clear. You have a lot of good ideas and stuff, but that's the most, the thing that comes through the loudest.
I hope so. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, you bet.
That encouraged me. Like, you know, you'll send me a text every once in a while. Maybe you do this with everybody. I'm sure you do, because you're an encourager.
I'm not like that.
But like you are a great encourager, and you'll encourage me about something you've seen or read or something I'm doing, which, I mean, it may be hard to believe, and maybe we can talk about this a little bit, because a lot of pastors are listening to this, as well as other people. They're invited, of course. I hope they are, and they are. But I get discouraged more easily than people may think. Mm-hmm. And there sometimes we have a saying on our team, like, it's not the sharks, it's the piranhas. Mm. Like, it's not a shark, big really shark that's going to come in. It's just the little things. Yeah, and sometimes there are so many piranhas at one time. I'm just like, oh, dude, I don't think I can make it across the river. You know, they're going to eat me before I get to the other side. And then I'll get a text from you, or other people will send something to encourage me, and it's just God going. This happened 2 weeks ago. 2 people, a couple of names that you and I would both know, both of them. And I'm just like, wow, thank you both for sending me it. And it was the right time.
That's cool.
So thank you. When you do it, it's almost always, you know, the piranhas are nipping at my heels a little bit.
Yeah. Well, those kinds of things are hard to, when people say nice things, you're a pastor, so you're not supposed to, you know, accept it, or you feel like you have to give, like, oh, you know, some
Praise
Sunday
God.
School answer, or whatever. But you really do have to let them in.
Yeah.
Because everybody's busy, and, you know, there's not that much encouragement flowing around.
Yeah.
So when it comes your way, you got to be open to it because it is a gift from God.
You're right. Like I would say, like now, and probably since COVID. I mean, COVID was horrible and beautiful because it purified like people who stayed here. It just purified, it pruned and purified, and like since then, not only have we grown a lot numerically in other ways, but I think I have the most encouraging church on the planet.
Awesome.
I mean, people are so kind and so good to me, and very few like not nice people are around. Yet still, I deal with discouragement, and I've thought about that for myself, right? So maybe we can talk about this. Like, I have really encouraging people, not many mean people anymore. I have people who care about me and believe in me, and say good things to me from inside and even from outside. Yet I still deal with encouragement, and it comes from two places, I think. Well, I mean, maybe the spiritual side I don't know how to get into. Is it pride? Is it lack of faith? Whatever. But it's from comparison. Because I look at other people and I'm like, I'll never be that.
Right.
I'll never preach that good, lead that good, whatever. And I know that's wrong. And then the other thing is I have, like David said, zeal for your house has consumed me. I have so much passion for some things that I know must happen, but it's hard to get there. People will assume, well, if you're not doing it, it's because you don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
And so this zeal to do things, and it takes a while, or comparison. So as nice as people can be, but if people are mean in addition to all that I'm already putting on myself, then game over,
Easter, I always used to have a love-hate relationship with Easter because, you have your biggest Sunday of the year, most likely on Easter. And mentally that's not what we're counting and blah, blah, blah. But it makes a difference. And so, we would come home from Easter services and, you just get online as people do. And it's not like you're searching your name or your church's name.
Yeah.
But you'd see live here in Houston. So there are mega churches that you don't even know because Houston's so big.
Right.
And you'd see, we had 10,000.
Right.
And you're like, oh, gosh.
Filled up this arena or whatever.
Yeah, we rented out Minute Maid. And, so it's amazing how quickly you can go from feeling like you're on top of the world to, am I making a dent?
Yeah, or what's wrong with me, or why can't I do that? Yeah, and so, I mean, God uses all that to sanctify me.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I like to tell people, I've said it on here before, but I needed so much sanctification. God made me a husband, a father, and a pastor. And man, pastoring, church planting and pastoring are some of the biggest sanctifiers on the planet, but continuing to do it. So you did it, and now you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So God's still sanctifying you.
That's right.
And right? I mean, don't tell me it too much, man. I think it was you and maybe somebody else too who was pastoring a local church, and then you're doing some great stuff now, incredible stuff. But then I'm like, hey, what do you not miss about being a pastor at a local church? And you started listing some things out, and so did this other person, and I'm like, I need you to stop talking because that sounds really great, So what are some unique things about pastoring that maybe you don't have, because you're still leading significant work, making a massive difference in people's lives at a very high level, at a globally recognized, excellent organization that I respect. We'll say the name if you want or not want. I'm fine with that. But you're making a huge difference in things, which if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I think I would like to be doing something like what you're doing, right? And so, but are there some unique things that maybe somebody who is a pastor, is going to be a pastor, they're going to think about, this is maybe a little unique that you're going to have to pay attention to?
I think the thing that you miss eventually, maybe not at first, is every time you open up the scriptures, there's something for you. But as a pastor, there's also something for somebody else.
Yeah.
And that can wear on you in the midst of it. Sometimes it feels like other people, they're not, but it feels this way, like trying to get in on your relationship with Jesus,
I haven't thought of it like that.
Just that's
cool.
It's not what they're trying to do, but it can feel that way. But then when you don't have an outlet to preach or to share, you don't realize what an opportunity is to read the scriptures with multiple layers.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's something for me. There's something for, I know this, family is struggling with cancer or whatever, and they just come to your mind as you're reading.
That's right.
So you miss stuff like that, or you have to look harder for those opportunities. And then the opportunity to believe God for something significant that you're responsible for. It's a different thing to believe God for something that's like your piece of it, and that's really beautiful, and that's what most of us do. That's what I do now. But it's another thing, like when you are the tip of the spear to, the church steps out in faith, or you take a risk or whatever, that, I don't know, it just feels different. And you have to look harder for those opportunities too when you're kind of not in the pastor seat.
Those are some things to miss. I could see how I would miss those things, I think. What are some things that maybe a pastor is listening and they're like, hey, this feels a little heavier than something I used to do, or a little different? What are those things? Like, being a pastor has some unique stuff. I think pastors whine too much. They're too weak. They complain too much. I'm like, everybody's working hard, man.
Everybody's working hard.
Everybody's got tough stuff.
Yeah.
I tell our team, I'm like, we're being supported by people who are working really hard. Yep. We have to work really, really hard too, and we can't complain about working hard because so are they.
Right.
So I think pastors complain way too much. I hate it. It's embarrassing. But there are some nuances that are unique.
Yeah.
I feel sometimes it's hard for me to articulate what those are, or sometimes I feel like I shouldn't.
Yeah, sure.
But can you?
The one that comes to mind is, and I've only had a few jobs outside of pastoring, so maybe...
Like your real estate career?
I had a 30-minute real estate career.
I loved that, man.
It was a financial loser for me at that time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
that's part two of the next time. I'll share that story. I think one thing that can easily happen in the pastor role that I don't know if happens in other places is it's easier to sort of lose yourself, like lose your own, like, who am I? Yeah. Because you have so much opportunity for feedback, good and bad, that if you're not super anchored to who God wired you up to be, you don't realize how open you are to somebody else's. Here's who you should be.
That's good.
Even if it's good, like overwhelmingly, I got lots of positive feedback. Our church was amazing. It was full of great people, very encouraging. But even that is like, I felt okay about that message, but I wasn't sure. And if you came along and encouraged something very specific, then maybe I lean that direction next time. So super subtle. Mm-hmm. And then, maybe you get some feedback from a staff member. And so I just, you can kind of feel yourself bouncing around. And if you're not careful or you don't have rhythms where you're really anchored to, like, no, this is what I'm passionate about. Yeah. This is how God wired me. Mm-hmm. Then you can kind of lose yourself in all of that. And I think the positive stuff is not just as dangerous, but it's not neutral. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I
agree.
So I don't know that happens. I don't feel that now in my job because people are not. It's just different, and I don't know if that's true for every career. Yeah. But that's one difference I've experienced.
No, that's cool. So, I mean, you get to see a lot of churches now, and a lot of great churches by a lot of measurements, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening around the country, and then a lot of tough stuff too. But what do you see? Do you see any movement happening in the church? I mean, I meet with a lot of pastors, so I'm seeing it from one perspective, and of course I read a lot on the church. But are you seeing anything right now? I mean, is there any little bitty subtle shift happening?
I think that I'll be interested to see if in the next 5 to 10 years, which things the church did in the 80s come back.
All right.
Well, everything's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, churches used to go and visit people on Wednesday nights, knock on people's doors.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that that's going to happen.
Like youth choir tours?
Yeah. Well, hey, you visited.
Oh, no, I get that.
What I mean?
But I was adding like another thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think, Mike, what could come back? Oh, that's what I did.
I think the sense of like, this thing we're doing on the weekend is great.
Mm-hmm.
And we've fine-tuned it so that it is humming. But the people that we're actually trying to reach are not here with us.
Yeah.
So some emergence of the regular church person, not the staff, not your, volunteer that's given 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
But like the regular people out in the streets.
Yeah.
With the people. I feel like somebody's going to invent that again. And it, maybe won't feel as corny as what that stuff in the past feels like. But I think we're just going to get tired of staring at ourselves Sunday after Sunday.
Yeah.
Be like, there's a lot of people that I live with. I mean, Houston is a very churched place. But still, when you pull out of your driveway on Sunday morning or Saturday night or whenever church is, most people are not pulling out with you.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it can feel super churchy, but it's really not.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, something back in the streets I feel like is going to happen.
Yeah, that's good.
But I don't know what that looks like. That's your job.
Well, we're trying to figure it out, man. Yeah, I think the come and see thing is over, which I'm really like, And I mean, you feel free to ask me questions too. I mean, I'd ask you questions all day long. You're here.
What do you see as a little movement here or there?
Well, I mean, we're seeing such a cascade towards the church project approach.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting reached out to exponentially all the time. We have a saying on our staff area on the wall. It says, everything here is for the church everywhere. Like,
that's cool.
Anything that we create here, we do it, like you said, like we read the Bible in lieu of thinking, oh, how are we going to give that to people?
Yeah.
Anything we create here, like our start was 7, which is a morning devo. We started for our church, but now it's all over. Good God gospel. Like we create things for our church that we can then share with anybody anywhere. So I think our team is thinking that way and thinking that way more. But I mean, we're finding, from Russia and Tajikistan and Cuba and all over Latin America and Asia and Europe and all over the States, like people are being drawn to a more decentralized approach with a super simple Sunday gathering. That's happening, man.
So you have house churches are your engine.
Yeah.
What if I go to one that's a dud?
Oh, there are. I like to say 80% of ours are clicking.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
10% are okay.
Yeah.
Or my least favorite word, which is an F word, is fine. Like, I hate something that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that means that people are probably accepting of something that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So 80% are good.
Yeah.
In that 80%, we may have 10% that are great. But
Sure.
I just
Yeah.
probably 10% great, 70% good. So 80% at least good. 10% are fine.
Yeah.
And we actually can help the fine get to good.
Okay.
So we help the fine get to good.
What if it's sometimes, you're putting people together randomly.
Yeah.
The relational vibe can just be off.
It can be. Well, the last 10%, though, is not good.
Yeah.
And so, like, we now have started to, over the last year or two, just kill the not good.
Okay.
We're just like, we love you, you're great, but this isn't great.
We need to hit reset.
And so, like, we don't tell people where to go. And we have had people be like, hey, man, I went to 2 house churches, and they were not good. And we're like, which 2 did you go to? We're like,
yeah.
Look, man, I get it. Let's just, and then we'll help direct people to a good one.
Uh-huh.
But we don't like living that way.
Sure, yeah.
And so just go to the map. And so the way that we're decentralized, we have to accept that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're super programmatic, we're super controlling. So now, though, we have ways to know if a house church is great or good or fine or not good. And so the not good ones, we're just like, we're going to absorb you into a good one.
Yeah.
And let your people taste really good community. Let your leadership see really great leadership. But sometimes the person, we like every house church probably has a weirdo.
Yeah, right.
And I want weirdos to be able to go to church.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like super socially awkward. Yeah. They probably don't have a hard time making friends. Like for some people like me, that might fit in the least of these categories.
Yeah, sure.
And so like I think I think we need to have a space where
You can't
somebody
filter
who's
people out. Yeah.
yeah, we can't be like, yeah, you're not
You don't make it.
you're not in the club.
No, Jesus wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and so but good leadership can help work with that and overcome it. I'll give you an anecdote. Like we had this house church in East Shore many years ago, which is a really nice place right on the lake here in the middle of the Woodlands. And like there's a medical doctor and the president of an oil company were like leading and hosting this house church together, right? And then we had a dude with a mental illness, and then another dude with a mental illness, like significant.
Yeah.
Come in here. And at some point that did break down. But the way that I saw these leaders in this house church
That's cool.
galvanize around caring for these people, and I met with them and I'm like, I think that God might have something for you and you and the people in your house church, because y'all are never, ever again going to be around people like this. And you never have been.
That's really cool.
So let's see what happens. So press in as far as we can go. And I don't actually think it's going to go that far.
Sure.
Something's going to crack at some point.
But let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try. And so
That's
really the leadership, it's almost always leadership. And we find good people we've never had a house church pastor with a bad intention, bad heart. Yeah. And now we're better at training and vetting and identifying and all that. So we keep learning too. But I have to be okay with 80, 10, 10, 80% good, 10% fine, and we can help fine get good. And the 10% that are not good, we just absorb them and replant them. So we'll start 2 and lose 1 often, but that helps keep our quality going.
Yeah. Do you have house churches that meet here?
No.
How
like here meaning in a building? No.
I'm sure that you've had people who wanted.
Oh, yeah.
What's your talking point for, no, we're not going to do that?
We don't explain it. We just say no.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah, the cool thing is I like to tell church planners, your favorite word has to be no.
Yeah.
Like your favorite and most used word has to be no. There are only a few yeses in our church. And so when we started our church, I said no all the time.
Yeah.
And I have stories about all the no's I said. And that was, hey, we don't have a host right now. Can we meet at the church? No.
Yeah.
Well, it'd really help us. No.
Yeah.
And so we just said no. This past year, our only yes was with a special needs group who needed a place to meet, because we had tried, but we have absorbed a lot of that into some house churches, but with significant or severe needs, they didn't have a place. And so we knew we have to say yes to this. Yeah. And that's going fantastically right now. So that's our only yes, and we reserve the right. I like to say it's our home. It's not our prison, meaning no is where we live. Yeah. But we can leave it if we want to. Yeah. Prison, you can't leave.
Well, that's a special kind of, not every pastor feels super comfortable. So, like, what is it about you that you've trained your team to just, you don't mind that word and you don't mind saying it out loud to your folks?
Well, we have one of our axioms here is size, speed, and strength. So if you work here, you have to be able to work at this size. Like if you can plan something for 40 people, beautiful, that's awesome. But if you can't for 400 or 4,000, it's not going to work. Size, speed, like we work real fast. Like we have another axiom that goes downstream from that one, which says work hard and rest hard. When we're working, we are working hard. But when you rest, you can't be working. And if we find that you're not resting well, like it's going to affect your work. That's cool. And you're going to break. So if you don't rest well, you won't be able to stay here because you'll get unhealthy and things will break. So size, speed, work hard, rest hard, and then strength, meaning you have to have a certain strength to work in this environment because it's an atypical church environment, and people come here with expectations because everybody that comes here that does come from another church, nobody's ever come to a place like this that comes here, at least up till now. I'm not saying we're a unicorn in the world, but people who come here, they've never been to a place just like this. And so they have sometimes expectations. And so you have to have the strength and the fortitude here to be able to say, this is who we are. And we will not do that. And so we're all of our people are armed now with words.
Give me the talking point. I come from a former church. I'm mildly displeased with that. I'm fairly mature in my faith. I've heard great things about Church Project. I've been here for 3 months. I'm loving it. I see you in the lobby or one of your staff members, and I've got I'm all in, but I'd like to see a few tweaks. How do you know if Church Project is for me or God is going to move me on to another church family? And then help me move on to where I might be a better fit?
Well, I mean, insightful question, unsurprisingly insightful. And every Sunday, with very few exceptions, this happens. And so, because people come here, here's what they love. They love the preaching. You're unapologetically biblical. They love our simplicity.
Right.
Like, we love how simple you are. They love our generosity, right? We love how we're simplicity for the sake of generosity. They love all of that. They love our intention, at least, to gather in diverse discipleship communities that are geographically based. Even if they're not in one, they see it and they respect it, you know? But they're trying to bring something else in here.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like, I miss my program.
Yeah.
Or I miss my pastor-led whatever. It almost always falls in these two categories. I miss my program, which is almost always building-based, campus-based, whatever. And it's led by like staff or pastors do this for me. And so this is how I know a church is decentralized. A lot of people are getting rid of Sundays because they think centralization is based on Sunday gatherings. I don't believe centralization is primarily due to Sunday gathering or not Sunday gathering. I think you're centralized based on where are your people pastored and where are they discipled. In most churches, people are pastored through paid staff,
right,
and people are discipled through programs.
Yeah.
In our church, people are pastored through lay staff in house churches, and people are discipled through organic relationships in house churches. So we can have a Sunday gathering and still be decentralized. So people are wanting, their questions are always about centralization. And so I tell them what I just told you. That took about a minute.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, I get it. This is our approach. And the approach you're asking about is a centralized approach, which would mean that we hire staff and create programs for volunteers to run. And we do neither of those things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I help them verbalize maybe what they're missing that they haven't been able to identify or articulate yet.
Yeah.
And then really they make a choice. Like, we've had people, I like to say our church is divided into thirds, I think. A third, like, unchurched, like never been to church, don't know about the Bible, don't know about Jesus. Like, we have probably a third of our church is that. A third is like unchurched for a long time. Like, grew up, grandparents maybe go to church, parents maybe go. I haven't been to church in 15 years, but now I got a baby. My life fell apart, and I should get back, but they don't want to go back to where they were.
Yeah.
And so, and the other third is like what you described.
Yeah.
And so I would say probably half of that third, once we have that conversation, if we need to have it, they stay.
Yeah.
And half of them, they leave.
Yeah.
Because they know, oh, now I know that it's not a seasonal thing I'm missing. You'll never do that here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
That's helpful.
Yeah, and I don't want them here.
What if God gives me an idea, or I feel like God's given me an idea, and I'm one of your church members and faithful. I'm in a house church. I'm doing it all. And then I bring it to you, like, this thing, there's a need, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Talk me through, how are you going to talk to me about why you shouldn't take this on versus why I should do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, one, people do that a lot, and we love it. We're like, look, you're bringing us an idea that either somebody else is already doing, and you should partner with them.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who are like, I want to start a ministry to do X, Y, Z, and we're like, actually, somebody's already doing that.
Yeah.
First, go serve with them and partner with them. See if you can make them stronger. And if while you're doing that, you find a gap then that they're not meeting, then let's maybe create something honorably with that relationship, create something that fits that gap. Yeah. So go partner with somebody if you can. If it's not, let's help you start it.
That's cool.
And so, like, that's what we lead people to do. But at the end of the day, I mean, people will be like, the church needs to do this. Yeah. And so this is how my conversation will go with somebody when they're like, hey, I really think the church needs to do this. And I'm like, who? And they say the church. And I'm like, who? And they're like, the church. And I'm like, who do you mean? And the conversation will literally go like this. I'll say, who do you mean? They're like, well, the church, you know. And I'm like, do you mean me?
Yeah.
And then they'll stop. And I said, do you mean the building? I'm like, do you mean the staff? Or do you mean you? I'm like, who do you mean needs to do this? And then I get into
really good.
so if people are willing to hang in there with me, which sort of gets, like to be at Church Product, you also have to have a little bit of strength, size, speed, and strength. So our people are a little bit gritty.
Yeah.
I like it. Some are real gritty. But if you don't have a little grit, you probably won't work here because we're going to be like, who do you mean?
Yeah.
And we're going to help you face the reality of the thing that you're requesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard Matt Chandler one time in this church planning thing a long time ago. I just sat in this room. Not too many people were in it. And he said, if you're not careful, you'll plant a church that one day you don't even want to pastor. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, look, there are a lot of churches in our community. And actually, I want to be a pastor of none of them.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't want to go to any of them. I just don't. Like if Church Product didn't exist, I don't know what I'd do. And so, and maybe I'm supposed to think that way. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. I mean, I love a lot of guys and respect a lot of them. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I don't respect all of them, what they're doing, but I respect a lot of them and love a lot of them. But I don't know where I could go. Yeah. And maybe they're saying the same about me, and that's fine. But, this is the church that I have to go to too.
Yeah.
And it's a church that I want my kids to go to. And they love it, by the way. And so, if you don't want this or need it, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for you. I think you'd love it here. I think you'd grow here. And I think you'd contribute here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But I'm not going to change this church for you.
Yeah.
Because at some point, I keep doing that. And then I don't have anywhere to go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's scary how easily that can happen. I mean, don't you think there's a lot of church planters who are in a school this weekend who are like, I'm not sure that this just isn't what I had in mind.
Man, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, I know, mentored a whole lot of guys for a lot of years, and you care deeply about the church. Talk to a guy who, he's in year 4 or 5, because I like to say we've never led with vision, only values, because our values stay the same whether we're 40, 400, 4,000. Yeah. But a lot of guys lead with vision.
Yeah.
And by year 2, 3, or 4, you're exhausted because you haven't met your vision yet.
Right.
Your people that you sold it on, now they're cycling in and out because they don't have as much fortitude as you do. Mm-hmm. And so now I think year 3, 4, 5 is where most guys, after year 3, their own strength starts to wear down.
Yeah.
And so let's talk to a guy about that. Do you know there's a book, who Seth Godin is?
Yeah, sure.
Seth Godin wrote a book called The Dip.
Mm-hmm.
And in his book, The Dip, he says every organization or almost every organization goes through a dip. And the thing that we have to figure out is if we keep going or we bail out at the dip. Sometimes people bail out when they shouldn't.
Yeah.
If they would have just stayed, then they would have gone through it. They would have climbed the mountain. Or sometimes people stay and they should have pulled the trigger, That's really hard to know.
Yeah.
Man. And if we do it based on discouragement, well, we're all going to bail out.
Right.
So how do you help a guy?
I think that, make sure that you're plugged in with another group of people who are doing it in the same window that you're doing it or just a little further ahead.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I didn't have that I wish I had is a cohort essentially of peers.
Yeah.
This is how you're, are working with your board or elders.
Yeah, that's right.
This is how, you're doing your staff. Here's, just a million different things.
That's wise.
Every planter, I think, feels like they've stumbled upon something unique and good. And that's
it's
what
necessary.
God uses, right? But then nothing new is, under the sun. Somebody has figured out a way and to at least have given me options.
That's right.
And then to communicate back to, whoever, X church is doing it. We respect them.
Yeah.
This is different for us, but I think it's healthy. And so I think you need people around you who can help you know the difference of are you just having a couple of bad Sundays in a row?
Yeah.
Are these fixable? Or, is God stirring you into the next season? And, I don't know that you're ever going to know for sure, but.
I think we're all supposed to keep living by faith. Even though things look firm here and sure here, I'm continuing to live by faith. Yeah. And so I think we all need to. So when you text me that you're in town and about hanging out, you didn't think we'd be talking about hanging out over a microphone.
No, I didn't.
So sorry and thanks. But so we hung out a little bit before this, and I loved the conversation that we had, and I think I could talk to you for hours. We got started on this late because we kept talking like that. But, I know we're supposed to be done with that other meeting by now, so I don't want to keep you much longer, although I could talk to you about church for a long time. So I hope we'll do it again next time you're in town. But final thing you'd like to say about any thoughts about the church, man? Any encouragement to some guys out there who are, they're still chopping the wood, shucking the corn, and all the East Texas sayings that I would say from Tyler. I mean, picking it up and putting it down. I mean, they're just out there doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that they are.
Yeah.
I mean, anything you'd say to some guy out there who's just getting after it?
Oh, I think that I would say what you're doing is more important than you think. But take yourself less seriously.
That's good.
Because your people love you, and for the most part, they do. And I think I underestimated, the amount of love and care that people have for their pastors. They really do appreciate it. And at the same time, they're not thinking about you that much.
That's right.
They got their own things going, and they're working hard. They've got their own worries. So what you think about 24/7, 365 days, they're just not thinking about it.
And we don't want them.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's okay to take yourself a little less seriously, which I think frees you up then to be really serious about the reason why you did this in the first place. Go back as often as you can to the moment or the moments when God said, take this step of faith, start this thing, lead it, say yes to this, and then live in that as much as you can. And I think that, nobody starts a church to be, listened to and have big crowds. That happens for some people, but everyone, I think, for the most part, does it because they have a genuine care for Jesus.
Yeah.
And they love people. So just go back to that.
Yeah, that's good.
And, understand that what you're doing is really, really important.
Yeah, it's really good. Man, I love people who love Jesus and love his church, and who spend their life for the gospel and the good of other people. And you do that.
Oh, thank you.
And so I'm glad to be your friend. I'm glad to serve Jesus alongside of you in different places and different ways, and I'm glad we get to have this conversation. Thanks for having it.
Thanks, Jason.
Cool. Hey, thanks for watching the Rethink and Return podcast. This is fun. The only thing we ask of you is that you like it, subscribe to it, and share it. That'd be cool. That'll help other people find out about it. Hope you have a great week. See you soon. Thanks for spending time with us today on the Rethink and Return podcast. Here's all we ask from you. Will you subscribe to this, share this, let other people know about it? That'll help us get the message out. Share this content with other people if it's helpful to you. We're grateful for you. See you soon.